Have you ever wondered what it really takes to go from just another creator with a dream to, well, a record-breaking superstar? I'm telling you, it's not about some random lightning strike of luck. It's a journey. There's a real path to follow, and the payoff? It can be absolutely life-changing. Let's get into it.
Just look at this number for a second. 51 million. That is not a typo. That's how many likes a single Instagram reel got. It was made by two brothers from India, and that number, it just completely shattered all the records. It's insane.
So that's the big question we're tackling today, right? How on earth did they do it? This isn't just another story about going viral. It's about taking online hate, all that negativity, and flipping it into a world record. We're going to use the story of Kishore and Krish Mandal as a case study for any of you out there trying to make it.
Yeah, their journey was definitely not a straight line to the top. Just a few years back, in 2020, they faced this really public rejection on a TV singing competition. But here's the thing, they didn't give up. They pivoted. They took their amazing voices to Instagram, and by 2023, things just exploded, which brings them to today, holding a record in India. What a comeback.
Okay, the Mandal brothers' story is so inspiring, but every single journey has to have a starting point. So, let's get practical. Let's talk about step one for any creator, building that audience and hitting that first huge milestone.
You know, the Mandals found their spotlight on Instagram, but their story really proves a universal truth for creators everywhere. You need a platform, you need a community. And for so many of us, that platform is YouTube, where the path to actually earning money has some very specific goals you've got to hit.
So YouTube kind of breaks it down into two main levels. Once you hit 500 subscribers, you unlock some cool fan funding stuff like super thanks. But the real game changer is tier 2. Hitting 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. That is the key. That's what unlocks the big stuff. The ad revenue from your videos and your shorts. That's when this can start to feel like a real job.
But of course, it's never that easy, is it? As soon as you start getting some traction, you're going to run into hurdles, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from people leaving nasty comments to these hidden technical traps that can just stop you dead in your tracks.
For the Mandal brothers, the hurdle was totally emotional. As they were blowing up online, the critics came out of the woodwork. People questioning their talent, saying things like this: if they were really that good, they'd be on a real stage. Can you imagine pouring your heart out just to read that kind of stuff? It is so tough to ignore.
Yeah, dealing with haters is hard. But honestly, there's another kind of hurdle that can be even more dangerous, mostly because you don't even see it coming. The technical ones. While the Mandals were fighting off critics, so many other creators are in this silent battle with the platform itself, where one tiny little mistake can get your whole dream rejected. And hey, this isn't some hypothetical fear. This is a direct quote from another creator, AI Logic, who was right in the middle of this process. He realized at the very last second that a single mistake he'd made could have thrown away everything he'd worked for. The stakes are just incredibly high.
Okay, so you've built the audience, you've dodged the hurdles. Now what? Well, now comes the best part, the payoff. This is that moment where all the hard work, all the perseverance finally pays off, both by proving the haters wrong and, actually getting paid. So remember those critics we talked about? Well, the Mandal brothers had the perfect comeback. They took their talent and went on one of the biggest stages in their entire country, India's Got Talent. They gave a killer performance, and you know what? It silenced every single doubter. Now that is a payoff. For you as a creator, that payoff moment often comes in an email, that welcome to the YouTube Partner Program email. So let's walk through the official 3-step process to get you there. So at first glance, this looks pretty simple, right? Step 1 is just clicking agree on the terms. Step 3 is just waiting for YouTube to review your stuff. But you need to pay very close attention to step 2, signing up for Google AdSense. This is it. This is the step where almost all the mistakes happen, and it is the single most important part of this whole application. You have to get it right.
All right, so let's talk about how to not mess this up. Listen close, this is super important. First, you can only have one AdSense account, period, for life. If you make a duplicate, it's an automatic rejection. No do-overs. Second, your metadata has to be honest. No clickbait thumbnails that promise one thing and deliver another. That's a fast pass to getting denied. And third, you have to go through your own channel and scrub it clean of any policy violations before you even think about hitting that apply button.
And here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. That same creator, AI Logic, had this before thumbnail on one of his videos. It's kind of classic clickbait, right? Promising easy money.
He realized at the last minute that this was a huge red flag for YouTube's policies. He changed it to the safer after version, applied, and he got approved. It's very likely that one tiny change saved his entire monetization.
So as we start to wrap this up, what's the big takeaway from these two stories? We've got the incredible rise of the Mandal brothers, and we've got this super practical guide to getting monetized. Let's boil it all down to one simple formula.
Here it is. I call it the creator's formula, because success is never just one thing. It's a combination. You need that relentless passion, that fire that the Mandal brothers had, to push through all the hate. But you also need the careful, technical precision of a creator who double-checks their AdSense account and their thumbnails. Passion gets you started, for sure, but execution is what gets you paid.
So there you have it. We've seen proof that mind-blowing success is possible, and we've walked through the exact technical playbook to get there. You have the inspiration from a world record story, and you have the practical instructions to make it happen. So the only question left to ask is, what record are you going to go out and break?